First, when you tie your belt, you want to tie it the exact same way every time so that the name appears on the right side and the style appears on the left side, etc., etc. And the way you do that is you always start at the exact same point. And you have to have a pattern and a rhythm, or else you can't do it. Now, it's improper to dress yourself in front of somebody else. So you should always turn around. But since you can't see me tie the belt if I'm turned around, it's important that you see it. So the first thing you do is you pinch it in your right thumb. And now flatten the belt all the way against your stomach, your lower intestines here, the dantian. Right? And then once it's flat, you should be able to transfer hands back and forth. Okay? If you're tying it right. The next thing you do is you grab the head of the snake on the right side and you feed it through the bottom. These are the formal ways of tying a belt. And if you don't teach it this way, I'm sorry. This is the formal way. Now, once the snake pokes its head out, it looks around and checks its environment and makes sure it's not going to get tangled up. And then it goes out and tightens itself up on its tail. The weaker snake, the female snake, comes out and is held upward. So if you have your hand on top of her, she will not come out. You need to transfer your hand underneath of her, and then she will be coaxed to come out and turn towards the male. Then you cross the male over her, and he heads back up through her cross, and they both tighten together. The female snake and the male snake have now changed positions, see? And that's what makes the name happen on the right side and the style on the left. Well, that's my perspective on the left side. Left side. So your weak side has had now this transition. So the transition is turning your masculine into your feminine and your feminine into your masculine. What does that mean physically? It means we're going to start always by our weaker, untrained, undisciplined side. So if you write right-handed, we're going to learn to write left-handed in this Shaolin class. And you will not ever need to learn how to write right-handed because you will only be forced to work on your left side, weak side, and that's supposed to be symbolized in the belt tying. When you switch the male snake, because masculinity and femininity are part of movement as well. And we explore that a lot. So what I wanted to talk to you today is Waza 1 and the elements of Tai Chi in Waza 1 in Okinawa-Te, the way Gordon Doversola originally taught it. Now the first move, of course, would be in demonstration point, you would be bowing and you're expressing a bunch of principles when you do that. But I wanted to get to some other principles, so let's talk about those. So as you bow and you draw back, it's assumed that's the first move. Your first move is to acknowledge your opponent, right leg to left. Remember, we bow left leg to right only at certain times and right leg to left for everything else. And then you realize your opponent is coming to strike you. So you begin by elbowing and stepping into it. Step in and elbow. Boom. But you don't need to look at this opponent. What you need to do is focus on this one who's coming in with 2 strikes. And the way that it leads in is as you are bowing and drawing back, you're beginning your pung bubble here. And that begins this crescent defense. The crescent is the pung. So it holds this shape. So you hold this and it turns into a rising upward block. So it goes from an extended horizontal position up into a blocking position. And then it goes to the formal position because it's symbolizing some other weaponry here. And then it rotates on the shoulder and this point here. So the punch up here is guiding it to roll here. And once you've done the roll, that's liu. So pang liu ji an. And then the most important move is the retreat. So you might have learned it as a ball and chain defense, shuffle out and elbow that guy again. Or you might have learned it this way, which is as soon as the punch comes in and you start this bow, you are going to pick up your left leg and put it right back down. And that's the secret in Waza 1 here. So the first move is bow, draw back, pick up your foot, go through Waza 1. And now what you have here, if you do this, if you do the form correctly and the body's actually there, 1, 2, 3. So this would be to the bridge of the nose. Real quick, boom. And then on down here to begin this fold. So the person comes in, they throw the punch, you slip their foot and come right behind their foot. So as soon as they come in, boom, and they do that. And then the rest of this is boom, boom, boom. So now the punch comes in and you want to disrupt the hip somehow. If your punch doesn't disrupt the hip, it doesn't work. So it's not a matter of how penetrating your speed is, it's a matter of how much you move your opponent. You have to move them to this point here, and once you have that, then the last move, which is this